Then there wouldn't be damage on whatever the Weavile's attack do. Oh, but
Oh no.
double tails on the scratch is not
That's a
great.
sad one. That's a sad one.
Probably doesn't matter too much though, because the Darkrai is going to. It would have been good to get double heads, but without the double heads, it doesn't really matter. Because the Darkrai is going to ping the damage.
Yeah, so, oh man, that Mars feels really disastrous. We don't even have a Weavile now to evolve into, and no Pokemon to communicate with.
Yeah, we really need a top deck here. The early game Mars is really paying off, but double heads here would be good. Not a double heads though. We're getting pretty bad on these double scratch flips that we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's really bad luck when you don't even get the scratch off. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do exactly. But this Dialga's can be ready. If we have a leaf, then we could have a retreat back to Dialga and start powering up Arceus like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, this Shaman is going to get healed off eventually from itself. Oh, and there's a potion as well to even put it further. Giant cape too. Very big Shaman.
Yeah, really big shape and
top deck would be
everything.
really good here.
Yeah, Weavile could still deal with it if we could top deck it, but we're still just not hitting the Weavile this game, which is just so bad for Sis.
This time the coins don't even really matter. You don't want to get double tails though. That's pretty.
Two tails again, yeah. Stis won game one. Just to repeat for those who are hopping back in here with us now that we just reset the whole stream. Let's see. Dialga to the active spot, and they're gonna go in and power up that Arceus. I feel like we're in a really bad spot now.
Yeah, the Dialga is going to get plenty of energy in play. It'll probably get 2 attacks off here. Cyrus, I mean, yeah, Cyrus is actually decent here. Yeah, you might as well knock out the Shaman with the Darkrai before things get even worse.
Yeah, we need to. That's for sure. After a really strong Mars, I'm not sure if this is coming back, but at least we have a game 3.
Yeah, and I like this attachment before the Cyrus. First, we get the 20 damage on Dialga. Now Cyrus brings up the Shaman, retreat into Darkrai, and finish off the Shaman. So this Dialga on the bench is always going to be a Cyrus target. We probably don't want to be using a Cyrus on it. But it'll be good to just have the damage for potential Weavile in the future.
For sure. We have a cape for the Darkrai protect against Arceus. Looks like we're going to take our first point at least, but not a great spot to be in here. At least we've used all the healing at least on Sinna's side, I believe.
Yeah, I think it might actually be fine for Stis now because the Arceus comes up, gets the hit in on the Darkrai. Darkrai hits back, and then the Weavile can clean up the Arceus right away on the end. Yeah, it seems not too bad actually.
Yeah. Agreed there. So they have Mew EX down now as well, just to make sure that this Arceus can swing for 140. We just really need our Weavile. We just really need our Weavile. Which we still aren't hitting. But I guess if we don't have a third Pokemon, if we have... No, oh my god, we're not Arceus. I was like, oh, if we have a third Pokemon, we can hit Dialga. That's not possible. We're not Arceus.
So I think this attachment should come down on the active. I don't think it actually matters. Well, no, if we get a giant cape, then Arceus does need this ping damage from the active Darkrai this turn. So we'll attach, and then next turn, if we top deck a Weavile, then that will be the game. But if there's no Weavile top deck on these next 8 cards, yeah, I like the potion as well because this prevents retreating into the Dialga EX and knocking out with the first attack, which would mean that Stis has to play the Cyrus. So this gives Stis the option to top deck a Research this turn to draw into a Weavile.
Let's see. So they pull up the Sneasel. I don't know about that. I feel like they're supposed to just attack the Arceus, which is like the real last hope. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'd go just attack, knock out the Darkrai, because this at least forces a Weavile. Here, I guess it's the difference between forcing a Weavile and forcing a Cyrus, which at this point, yeah, maybe Cinna did make the correct play here, because otherwise, yeah, it's like Weavile versus Cyrus, and I think there's more outs for the Weavile because of the communications. Because there's one Darkrai EX left in the deck, and that can get communicated. But yes, Stis is going to end up winning the game here. And yeah, if the Arceus just took the knockout on the Darkrai, it would have been game over here because Stis did not top deck the Weavile. But the way that this played out, I think Cinna getting punished for making the correct choice, which is never great to see.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does seem a little bit of punishment for making the correct choice. And just like that, Stis is going to lose game. Wait, we won game 2 as well. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Sorry, I'm very distracted by the whole stream's like crashing.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but yeah. So Stis takes game 2, and Cinna, after beating so many fighting decks, ends up losing in top 4. Let's see here. We'll get hopefully our second game going. I'm going to see, are we... Betters on Stis are about to go rich. What? 1 second. Are we all good in all streams now? I'm just going to quickly check. Just double checking that all streams are good before we hop into, yeah, for now people are saying, but of course for now it happens. But yeah, great job by Stis coming back even though they literally never hit the Weavile.
Yeah, they found the line that needed to happen, and the opponent made the correct choice, which ended up being the wrong choice. But yeah, that's Pokemon for you.
Yeah, I mean, you make the correct choice with the idea that there's no world they haven't hit Weavile, but he's just bricked so much that there is a world that he didn't hit Weavile. So we are gonna try to get into our next top 4 here. Darkrai is back. Darkrai is back. Oh no.
Yep.
But do you have preference between, it looks like it's Darkrai Arceus versus T18 Articuno. Any preference between the two?
I guess we should look at the Articuno side this time because we haven't before.
Okay, perfect. Let's hop to channel 49 then.
All right.
Up, they're getting into their... I lost Jake. I dragged you down with me. Let's see. One moment here. I'm just getting the names fixed up. We're looking at it from Goy Rogers' point of view versus Lazo Master, who we watched earlier. Yeah, no, you're saying you made the correct decisions. All the correct decisions were made, I think. But we'll be getting into our next game.
Yeah, so this is going to be, the Articuno deck versus, I think it's Dialga Arceus, another one.
Yep.
With the Shaman for the healing from the Articuno damage, which is not what an Articuno deck would like to see, of course.
For sure on that. Okay. Let's see what they decide to do here. We have... Looks like we are going to get that retreat back with a Leaf to the Dialga at the least. So Lazo is going to start powering up this Dialga. We won't be able to attack for another turn. And Goy is going to be able to go on and put 40 damage into our... into the Dialga.
I think on my end, I can't really see the stream. It's not loading. Here, I'll try disconnecting and reconnecting real quick. Okay, there it goes.
It does.
Now I can see everything.
Yeah, so Articuno does find a Rocky Helmet, which is going to be nice because Dialga has to attack to power up the Arceus on the bench. So it doesn't really get the option not to. It'll go down to 90 health. And so if we have a Giovanni, we could go and knock out... there is no Giovanni. Never mind. But we can get this Dialga in range, actually. Kind of threatening, like, no, you don't retreat. Arceus is not allowed to come out.
Yeah, this looks really good for the Arceus-Dialga player. As Articuno is great at being fast and knocking out the 1-point Pokemon, but there's only one 1-point Pokemon in the Arceus-Dialga deck, and it's one that's sticking on the bench with sort of the exclusive purpose in this matchup of getting rid of all of Articuno's bench damage, which is something it really relies on to make Cyrus plays.
Yeah, no, that oh my god, Shaman is gonna be so nice to keep those bench Pokemon safe. Looks like we may have a Sabrina here. So they're not trying to do that early damage. Not early damage, but not trying to push them down to 10 health. And we'll be able to go on and attack into Arceus. I'm kind of surprised they gave it up, but maybe it's just because they think, oh, you're not going to hit a Misty Flip on the Articuno on the bench.
Yeah, or maybe the Arceus-Dialga player has like a potion plus giant cape in hand. That would make this make a lot of sense, but I guess not. Yeah, just going for the hope on the no Misty Flip, which is probably a good bet to make anyway. You need double heads. The odds are pretty low, 25%. And even if that happens, like I think the Dialga player is still in a great spot this game.
Really great spot. And let's see what Misty has for us. I assume we're going to be... Yep, here's our Misty. Oh, and I think that's basically going to spell game here. Lazo does need a Giovanni, but I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, even if there's no Giovanni knockout this turn, that's still probably the end of it. So Articuno's just not able to deal with the combination of Arceus and Dialga in time.
Let's see.
And there's the Giovanni.
There is that Giovanni there. And that's going to be a knockout. Okay, and then we'll let them get set up for game 2 then. We'll let them set up for game 2. kind of definitely shows some of these issues with the T18. Really, really strong supporters, but if you can't hit the heads or you don't have enough energies and your opponent just was able to set up, then what are you supposed to do when your whole deck just relies on 2 Pokemon?
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's really good for getting fast, aggressive attacks out against low HP Pokemon, but Arceus and Dialga have so much HP, plus all of the healing, plus Giant Cape. It's just too much, I think. This matchup, must be like pretty solidly favored for the Arceus-Dialga player, I think.
Yeah, it seems like it. You would think if it really is that strongly Arc-Dialga, then like how does T18 make it all the way through? That being said, sometimes you just don't hit the matchups that are bad, or your opponent bricks when you do. So all options are still good enough. Are still good options.
Yeah, I think looking at the Guy Rogers like Swiss round pairings, I think they played against 2 Arc-Dialga before in the tournament total, and they're 1-1 against it. So yeah, not looking too great for the matchup in that regard, because they beat pretty much everyone else in the tournament. So yeah, couldn't quite make it before. We'll see if they pull off a miracle here. There is no Dialga bench though, which is obviously like what you want to see if you're the Articuno player.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. I mean, we have a Misty. He's gonna use it. Do we hit all the heads? Nope, not even a single one. So 1 energy is all Articuno is gonna see this turn.
Yeah, and that'll just be a pass back. Now, if we get a Dialga attach, that'd be really, really great to see here. But you're not too worried, even if you just have to manually power up the Arceus on the bench, because like, the chance that Guy Roger has double Misty in hand is pretty low. And obviously we see that he doesn't right now, and he'd have to top deck it to stay in the game.
Let's see. Yeah, he's gonna have to top deck it. Let's see if he can hit it. But we do have a second Arceus we're just gonna put down on Lazo's side. No Dialga needed, I guess.
Yeah, maybe just planning for this Mew EX to go down, and then to manually power up 2 Arceus for the rest of the game, which might work out well. Well, yeah, we'll see how it turns out. This Mew can also get healed here, so that it'll be out of range of. Yeah, he's already out of range of the first attack plus the second attack from the Articuno, but to play around the Giovanni, this Shaman is going to be able to get it out of range of that.
Yeah, that'll be really nice. Shaman's able to protect every single turn, I feel like, for some of these different things, but pulling it back out of range of that like any type of splash in the future, it's red card is appearing. I'm not sure maybe what we're trying to protect against here is like a Mew EX retreat and attack. So saying please don't have leaf. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to prevent the easy retreat plus the attack. That's really all we're scared of here. Getting a knockout on the Mew EX would be really huge. But we do need like a second Articuno next turn, otherwise this is going to get really, really bad.
Completely agreed. Looks like we have our Giant Cape on the second Arceus. I'm not really sure the need for it.
It looks like no leaf was found.
No leaf found.
And the Articuno was top decked.
Nice.
So really spamming these Iridas to get the Articunos out of range of the Giovanni plus full bench Arceus attack.
Yep, and we're going to get 2 points for Goy now, but as long as we have Giovanni here, we're kind of safe.
Yeah, the Rocky Helmets putting the Articuno back into range. So yeah, they need Giovanni plus bench. It's kind of a lot to ask for this turn, but you don't really need it. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Maybe a Sabrina here is actually like a really good option if you can't knock out the active, of course.
Yeah.
Sabrina would be nice, but there is the Giovanni.
Giovanni. 100% is what you're saying. Giovanni's going to come down, and I mean, I don't really know what Goy wants to do in this position. Uh, Articuno is going to be swinging for 40, and just Arceus doesn't care, it feels like, at this point.
Yep. Yeah, at least the Giovanni's down, so you're not worried about the Articuno getting one shot back. The Misty Heads is actually, yeah, pretty big here.
Yeah.
Get a good hit on the Arceus.
And that will
no,
bring him in range of a secondary. I mean, unless we have double potion, or at least a potion. Yeah, double potion.
Yeah, single potion because of the Shaman to heal out.
There we go.
So yeah, if we see a potion here, I think it just comes down to potion or not, because we see the double Cyrus in hand.
Let's see. One. Okay, we have a potion.
Yep. So I think this is
Double?
2 potion even. Wow. I think this seals it pretty much for the Arceus player. It seems hard to come back from this. Yeah, like what do you even do here? You can't attack. You can't retreat. You have nothing to retreat into. So I think that's going to seal up our top 4. And Arceus-Dialga will make it onto the finals.
Yeah, I mean, that means it's going to be Arc versus a Weavile Darkrai. Who would have expected this for our finals? Really fun to see. Really fun to see. But and then he's just going to knock him out here. So.
Yep.
Quickly check to see if there's anything. But that should be a very swift 2-0. Yep. For Lazo meter, and so just like Lazo Master, and just like that, we're going into our finals of our game. So let's see what this game plays out with, because no, okay, yeah, I'm getting so mixed up with things. Holy crap. My brain is messed up now after today. But our finals is going to be that Weavile Darkrai versus an Arc-Dialga. I'm not sure we expected this matchup, but I'm excited for it. Obviously, I guess Weavile could just be so aggro that Lazo doesn't have time to set up.
Yeah, I think all the potions and are going to help a lot, and the Shaman as well is probably going to make a big difference in this matchup to make sure those Darkrai pings get healed off as soon as possible, make it very annoying, very difficult to Cyrus. We've obviously got, two Cyrus and the Sabrina from the Weavile side, only the one of Cyrus from the Arc-Dialga side, but they don't really need to be gusting around very often.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have, do you have any opinion on who you think is going to end up winning this finals match?
Yeah, I think Arc-Dialga is going to be favored in this matchup, especially with the double Giovanni. That seems like very helpful. You can push on your Arceus numbers to hit the 140 from the Weavile and Darkrai. So giant capes are going to be really crucial to find from Weavile. Darkrai, it seems like if Weavile Darkrai finds everything, then they're in a good spot. But at the same time, like if the potion cards are found at the right time as well, then it goes back to kind of being even. And I think Darkrai Arceus or Dialga Arceus is better from like an average or worse start. So overall, I think Dialga Arceus is going to be the favorite in this matchup, but it's not going to be super extreme.
Yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, I definitely agree. I think Arc-Dialga is gonna have a really nice position here. They got some big bulky butts on that Arc and the Dialga, especially if they put those capes on. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And then, but obviously Weavile has made his way all the way through. I was really quickly gonna check He's beaten 1, 2, 3 Arc-Dialgas throughout his entire run. Otherwise, though, I mean, with that being 10, 16 rounds, that's not that many. We'll have to see how it ends up going. I think we are going to get a, like a, what are the bets called on Twitch called? Started. It looks like we have one going.
Yeah, prediction. Yep.
Yep, prediction. They're gonna their players are gonna have a really quick bio break. So we're gonna let them do that before we get started. And do you have any preference on which point of view we watch?
I don't know. I think maybe to keep it in suspense, we'll go the Darkrai Weavile side to make it so we don't know when the potions are coming down.
True. So that sounds good to me. Why don't we hop to channel 1 just so we can get all set up, and then we can get started when they're ready. So are you inspired to try more Darkrai Weavile after today's showing of it?
I think I'm more inspired to play some of the Dialga Arceus once I get my second Dialga. I really like the slower play style with the potions and the shaman. Yeah, I don't love the aggressive play styles that much. I think I have more fun with the slower ones. Because yeah, I like my games as long as they can possibly be.
Totally understandable. Yeah, the thing I always find fun. So obviously, sometimes really long games are not the most fun to cast. But like as a player, the longer you make the game go, the more chance your opponent has to mess up. And that's where, taking advantage of those mistakes is how you show skill expression in card games. So I don't know. Sometimes people are like, like, why are you playing for your opponent to, make a mistake? And it's like, well, that's kind of the whole point, I feel like sometimes.
Yeah.
Some of these decks for sure.
I always like to say that like Pokemon really is impossibly difficult to play perfectly for 99% of games. Like you'll get the one-off occasional one where like you're just gonna dunk your opponent and there isn't really a wrong way to do things. But for most games it's very difficult to play perfectly, and especially like the longer the game goes, usually it's like smaller differences between a great play and a suboptimal play, where you're only messing up like 1 or 2%, but that can add up eventually. And I think Pocket is a great way, especially I think more competitive players should play Pocket as like a way to practice. It's a good way to think about like Pocket isn't always the most like you can't get as much out of an individual game as far as like skill expression goes, but you can fit many more games in the same amount of time. And it's also like still equally difficult to play perfectly. Like trying to make the perfect decision, even though it might not matter in the end. Like a 2% difference is only going to matter 2% of the time. But if you're trying to play perfectly, it's a great way to practice doing that, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Something that like I remember like when I first started, people were like, "Do you just enjoy Pocket more?" And I was like, "I don't know," but like when you're streaming 8 hours a day, when you play a 45-minute game and you do 20 actions on your last turn to change your chances of losing from 85% to 65%, and then like you still lose, it's a lot more tilting than you play a 3-minute game, even if it's an auto loss. You just move on to the next game. It's easy not to tilt that way, or much easier not to tilt that way, and things like that. So practicing that type of sequencing, the rules are still the same in this game, so it can still be really useful in a way to like practice the actual like sequencing and steps like that. Our players are getting into their game now, so we'll have it up in just a minute here. They're selecting their first Pokemon, and then we will hop over to that. It looks like YouTube and Twitch are still good to go. So we'll be getting into it shortly here. Cool.
Yep, I think for the main game, our rotation that's coming up in a couple weeks is gonna definitely help take a lot of the long turns away, move away from that direction of long turns and shorter games in terms of turn number. because there's Pokestop rotating, Radiant Greninja rotating, all these key consistency pieces that make combo decks as powerful as they are right now. Regidrago V-Star as well. Some of these cards, they've been so impactful in the physical TCG for a while, and rotation's really going to change things up a lot, slow things down, and make it so that there's more room for some setup decks to play. Yeah, I think from what I've seen so far in Japanese tournament results, because they get to play the new cards a little bit before we do, they've their format is looking really great so far.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. Yeah, I felt like Greninja was obviously really strong, but at the same time, I felt like obviously it's a really good consistency card, but it's also like so strong versus like one pointers. Not that we need to go too far into that, but obviously like I just felt that card is like so strong. You don't need that strong an ability with that strong an attack. Yeah. I don't think they like thought that through. Like then you had like the Radiant Eevees that literally did nothing. Like, yep. What if you, anyway, you know, I have some feelings about Radiant Greninja, you can tell, but I wish they would have put that attack on one Radiant and the ability on a different one. So I'm really excited to see how the meta looks afterwards. But with that, we're going into this game. I would love to see some bench snipe, though. Just loves to have the Greninja attack or something. Okay.
Yeah, there's the water ogre pawn, which has been seeing a lot of success in Japan so far. So that is still around.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, but it's only 32. Right?
No, it does 120 to the active, and then you shuffle all energy from it into the deck, and then do 100 snipe to the bench.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, I forgot to change names again. I'm a dummy. There you go. All fixed. Thanks, Youngmung. But yeah, I'll have to see how it
going
goes.
into this game. This Mars is actually really interesting here, whether or not you play it. But this is looking like a really great start for the Darkrai Weavile player.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're gonna be able to go in and knock out, get the first 2 points.
Yep. Unfortunately, like the Weavile is like gonna get knocked out in return here really quickly, but the Darkrai is going to be able to swing into the Arceus. And it'll come down to the healing cards. I think saving the Mars here was correct because, now Arceus is going to take the knockout. Darkrai comes up, Mars to 1, and you miss all the healing cards, and then you just lose. So I think that's what's going to happen here. Looks like that. Mars coming in to save the day, really, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know how many healing cards are in the opponent's hand, but you got to imagine there's a couple of potions in there.
I think that's a great point you're making. Like, a lot of times people think Mars is used for the Pokemon or they're used for the supporters, but really knowing your win cons, what your opponent needs to win against you is so important in using these really contextual cards like Mars. Like, this is going to come down to healing, so if you can, decrease their chances of having healing as best as you can, that is going to be what you need to do to win the game. We're going to see that first attack here into Arceus. We can do roughly 100 next turn. So, actually, how much healing do we need for this? But it's going to be...
Yeah, you need like double potion plus giant cape.
Yeah, exactly.
Or actually, not double potion. You need like 2 in combination because we got the healing with the Shaman.
Yeah, very true.
Looks like it's going to be retreating to a Mew EX, I'd imagine. And there's the Cyrus in hand to win the game right from there. Oh, it's just just an attack, I guess. Giving up.
A little sad,
yeah,
but...
It seemed pretty bad anyway. You'd have to get really lucky with like a top deck. Maybe there isn't even a way to survive. You might have to like top deck and research into another, retreat into another Dialga. But yeah, there's Cyrus in the hand anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But this is going 1-0, so yeah. That Mars, like, I really love games that come down to Mars and in the physical TCG, Iono, because the amount of decisions that all the players make about the resources for the entire game just come down to that one last shuffle of the deck. Re-randomizes everything, but within the player's control. There's so much that a player can do to change the odds that they draw what they need off of that Mars in the end.
Yeah, for real. Playing some, as we talked about, early cards, like if you don't think Giovanni's gonna matter, use it the turn that you don't have another supporter. If you don't think your Sabrina's gonna matter long term, use it before during a turn that it doesn't matter, or using some of those different item cards just so that you can manipulate the odds of hitting the correct cards you need off the Mars. That being said, I think we need literally 3 cards, and you're only going to have 2 cards from Mars, so a little bit painful, but still, there's a lot you can do to set yourself up to win. I think that's one of the things that I find funny about when people get upset about, like, oh, Pocket is all, it's just all down to the draw, and it's like, yes, that's what a card game is.
Yeah.
That's what a card game is. The thing is can you make the odds of your draw as high as possible? And that's where the skill expression comes in. So I don't know. I just always find stuff like that funny. Or like, oh, this whole game's a coin flip. Like, well, that's kind of what a card game is, buddy. You're just gonna change the odds of hitting heads. So let's.
Yep. I think that's what Pokemon does really well compared to some other card games. A lot of card games try to stray away from the probability aspects as much as possible. Like once you're in a game, they try and use cards to avoid interacting with the probabilities of the game. But I think one of the things that makes card games so unique is how complicated probabilities get, and it makes it fun when both players are always still in the game. Like there's always a chance to come back when things are based on probabilities. But like if a good player is able to make a game like a 90-10 matchup, then I think that's better than the good player just outright winning off of skill immediately, because then it makes it like a less fun viewer experience, and I think it's more fun gameplay wise as well to always think about probabilities. How can you make your chances just that little bit better to win the game?
100%. Yeah, I definitely agree. I like little skill expression things like that. Like the more knowledge you have, the better you're at it, versus like, I don't know, I just think it's a good thing, and I love that part about Pokemon. Like, oh, it's such a simple game. And it's like, yeah, it's simple to get into, and for sure, like sometimes the player who picks up a deck for the first time ever is still going to beat you, but like that makes them want to play the game, and then your game's going to be healthier because of it. And then you still have huge skill expression where we see the same players, both in the physical card game and in Pocket, continue to win over and over again. And so let's see if Stis can do it here. Even though we thought this match would be so bad, Stis has already taken game 1, but maybe he'll just take the whole bag and take that first place.
Yeah, so it's looking, I think, a little bit better for the Arc-Dialga player in this game, because yeah, they're going to get an Arceus powered up before the Shaman goes down, which is really great. But at the same time, there's no backup Pokemon, and you're not attacking with Dialga either, which is not great.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll have to see if... We're going to need a Leaf to retreat this turn. We do have Cape now, but with the Rocky Helmet, obviously that puts him back in range of, the Giovanni and full bench on Lazo's side. I'm quickly checking lists again. Stis does run a Mars, though, so I don't really know that you hold those cards. That's something I found interesting since like Red Card went away and kind of came back with Mars. During Red Card, you had a card in hand, you put it down. Like when everyone ran Red Card, like it was pretty like, yeah, don't be greedy about it. But Arc-Dialga chooses to be greedy a lot of the times, even in the face of a Mars.
Yeah, it's interesting that because Mars is a supporter, you can sort of make decisions about like really complicated maps of like my opponent needs to use Cyrus on this turn, and then they can't Mars me. So if I do this play, which would force them into a line where they have to play Cyrus, then it means my hand is safe, which is really good. So then I can avoid playing things, because then it'll give my opponent less information to play off of. And if they do Mars, then it's actually like an incorrect play for them, so that I'm happy anyway. So you can kind of like bait your opponent into playing Mars in different situations. You always want to make decisions as difficult for your opponent as possible. And I think Mars really adds skill expression into making your opponent have those decisions, but also playing around the Mars player. So like the Mars player has to decide when to use Mars correctly, and the player who's not playing Mars or the opponent of Mars has to decide how best to play around Mars, and there's a lot of complexity there.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It really does add some extra complexity you might not think of just by changing it into a supporter, even if it is slightly stronger than red card. Mars is going to come down now. I wonder if what that's going to mean, right, for those basics that really need to be there to power up this Arceus. Go off, obviously, with 160 health. Maybe not, doesn't matter as much. Maybe it doesn't matter as much. Definitely want heal cards here, though, because otherwise, Arceus, I mean, Arceus is just going to go down to an attack. Well, I guess still not because of the other one, but it's going to go down here.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, maybe holding the Mars. But at the same time, like, so this next turn, if you didn't play the Mars this turn, then I assume you might have to play like a Cyrus or Sabrina or something, so playing it right away was the correct thing to do. It's a little bit of a tricky decision. But this Mew EX on the bench is going to get quite annoying here right now. So I think you might have to retreat into the Darkrai and then just pass with the Darkrai active, get another Darkrai ping on, then Shaman heals, but then you can bring back up the Darkrai with a Cyrus and knock it out with another Darkrai ping. So yeah, very interesting sequence of events that's about to occur here. So yeah, I think we have to go like Leaf. I guess you don't have to play the Leaf. Oh, interesting, a Sabrina first. I'm not sure if I like this because yeah, this Arceus, yeah, the Mew EX comes up, but now the Darkrai is going to take the hit from the Mew EX, I guess. But I don't think it makes that big of a difference. You can't retreat into the Weavile. Maybe just setting up for the second Weavile, like hoping to top deck another Weavile. But I still think I would have liked to see the ping from the Darkrai happen before the Arceus retreats, before the Sabrina happens.
I completely agree. I feel like saying don't bring Arceus up or you're going to get knocked out is a pretty nice threat if we just get that attached ping onto the Arceus here.
Yeah, because then on this following turn, we could go Sabrina, bring up, because like if that Arceus has 20 HP remaining on this turn, then you go Sabrina, bring up the Arceus, knock out with the Darkrai ping, and then the opponent has to promote something, and then we either play the Sabrina again to force up the Shaman maybe, and then pass with the Weavile active or the Sneasel. But this situation, I think it's a checkmate now because there's nothing that can survive just the retreat, and the Arceus knocks at everything. So I think that was a big misstep there. Whereas if that Arceus went down this turn, then you could leave end the turn with the Sneasel active, and the Mew EX wouldn't be able to do anything, which would be huge here. So we'd basically be in the same board state, except the Arceus is knocked out on this turn.
Yeah, I completely agree. Oy. Seems like a bit of a misplay, but we'll have to see how it works out. I mean, maybe Lazo does just win this game, though, like you're saying. Research.
Yeah, I think it's just retreating to Arceus and knock out the Sneasel, and that's game over. Just playing out extra cards.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're not just retreating back. But yeah, there's the retreat, and that's going to be all that's needed for Lazo to take point 3. And then we're going into the last game of the BO3. The set. There's a word.
Yeah, so that misplay kind of costing the game here, I think, but gives us a third game to cast, which is always great.
Yeah, always nice. So thank you, Stis. But let's see how this goes down. I'm curious if he meant to put the ping on Mew, or if it was like he accidentally did it, did one thing before the other that he meant to do. Because that happens to everyone when you're sequencing stuff. Sometimes you get ahead of yourself a step while you're trying to lay out what you're supposed to do, and then you just make a mistake and forget. And of course, it's always easier for us as viewers to see, lines or mistakes they made versus you're fighting it out for almost, I think it's like a double prize is first place versus second. You're on stream. You have viewers watching the stream as well. A lot of things can add to that additional stress where you might make a mistake or just not see the line.
Yes, yeah, of course. Being on stream adds a lot of pressure. I had some experience myself with being on stream and knowing how much that adds. At least these players don't have to deal with the white noise that they have at the physical tournaments. You have to wear like a little headset and they blast white noise. I don't mind it, but a lot of people seem to get distracted by it. So, but yeah, there's obviously pressure, especially being in the finals with prize money on the line. A lot of viewers watching. It's difficult to make the correct choice, of course.
Yeah, for sure. It's also funny. I feel like sometimes I feel like the white noise is so funny. I've never gone on stream for like a physical card game. Maybe one day. But it's very interesting. Like players can make so many mistakes on the camera that it can just, just throws you off your game sometimes even. We are starting with Sneasel. I said it correctly this time. But no attack, which makes sense to me since there is that Rocky helmet on Dialga. And Sneasler, obviously, with only 60 health, would be able to be one-shot with a Giovanni 30 damage attack from that Dialga.
Yeah, so I think, it's a very difficult choice. Like, the double heads would have been really good there, I think, because then you go Weavile. The Shaman does make a big difference, though. Will heal over time. So, yeah, we really need a Darkrai EX here. Got a Pokeball and the Calm in hand, so we've got a lot of outs to it. Actually, it's guaranteed because of the only Darkrai's left in the deck. So we'll at least get a 90 damage hit into this Dialga EX. But I think this is like the perfect start from the Arc Dialga player, which is not what you like to see if you're the Darkrai Weavile player.
100%. Yeah, it never feels good when that happens. Luckily, we are going to go on and put 70 damage, 90 with that ping. And Dialga's kind of in range here. He needs to find 2 potions or a ping and an attack is going to be enough to get an early 2-point for Sis.
Yep. Yeah, so if we got the double heads on the Sneasel last turn, then it would have prevented something like this from mattering. But yeah, I think overall this is. Yeah, do we see the double potion though? There is the second.
Giovanni.
Okay, no double potion. Yeah, I guess just playing cards to get around the Mars. This is probably makes sense, and you have to use the Darkrai ping on the active here.
Yeah, I think that Giovanni was probably just what you're saying to work on that Mars. So I'm assuming then that we are not planning on one-shotting Darkrai.
Yep, and we can see. Yeah, I think just an attack here makes sense. Maybe I'd like to see the Sneasel come down this turn because then next turn your Weavile gets knocked out, and then. Well, I guess there's no Sabrina in the list, right? Let me double check on that.
There's no Sabrina in the list.
In the Arc Dialga list. So yeah, you don't have to worry about it getting Sabrina next turn. If there was a Sabrina, then you'd want to bench the Sneasel this turn because during your next turn, ideally want to evolve it into Weaviles so that it can't get Sabrina before it evolves. But yeah, here we're gonna see Darkrai get the first hit into this Arceus, and with a lot of those healing cards down. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't have liked to see that potion heal the Darkrai there, or heal the Dialga there, because on this turn, Arceus really would like to get double potioned.
Yeah, very, very true. Could be a little bit of a bad spot actually for Lazo having used one of those potions. We have a Sneasel come down, which is safe because there's no Sabrina in the list. We're gonna Mars, I assume, for what you're talking about, get some of those healing shots back into the deck, or like maybe like a leaf or something. But
Yep.
We are avoiding.
I think it was a very, very interesting choice there, whether or not to go for. I think I might have rather see the Sabrina played instead of the Mars. Sabrina forces the Dialga up, and then the opponent has to find a leaf in their. What was it, like 3-card hand? So they have to have a leaf in the 3-card hand. They can't play research. Here, they can have Leaf as an out. I guess, yeah, no, Leaf isn't an out, but they can have like research into potion as an out. Um, I mean, yeah, maybe it isn't even enough really. But yeah, it looks like Stiss is gonna come away with this game because they have the Cyrus in hand. And really, like the power of Mars has been showcased
Yeah.
really well.
Honestly, yeah, and just like that, he's flashing the Mars, he's flashing the Sabrina. He says, I had it all along, and just to prove it, I'll actually Sabrina. I don't care about Cyrus. And
Yep.
this was still the deal, and that's going to be game 3 for Stiz. That's going to be the first ever win for a Weavile Darkrai in the Ursiidays Pokemon Pocket Weekly. So huge, huge, huge win for Stiz here. Congratulations. And we are going to take our 3rd and 4th point here since we were giving up that Arceus. Huge shout out to Stiz. Fantastic job in the finals here. Not confidence, not shaken by the game 2 loss. Perfect
Yeah,
job.
yeah. Gave us that game 3 with the misplay, but played perfectly game 3 and cleaned it up.
Took it all the way home. Did not allow for the what's it called? Return sweep. I think it's the return whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, huge, fantastic job by Stiss, and that's gonna be our finals. Wow, how awesome! I'm gonna bring up back to our cameras here. I'll quickly screen share just so you can see where we're at. But yeah, what a fantastic job! I had so much fun watching this last matches. Even need to watch some of these Dialga Galades, Dialga Rampardos, Articuno T18. I had so much fun today with number 20 in our Ursiidays Pokemon Pocket Weekly. I actually cannot believe Weavile just took the game. I feel like we're almost having like a repeat of set was it A1.-A, where like everyone was like, oh my gosh, Celebi is so strong. Not a single one appears in the top 32, but then it wins out the last tournament. I don't think we really had any Weaviles in the first tournament of A2, and now it's got to win. Fantastic job. I do want to give a really quick, shout out to our winner, Sis. Fantastic job by him. Really showed how you use the deck, how even though it can't do those big swings that Arceus can, it can still take the win, potentially go under that energy curve between the Dialga and that Arceus, and end up finishing off the entire tournament in first place. How absolute masterclass for that deck. Do also want to give a huge shout out to all of our players today. They did such a great job playing in our top 64, and we are so thankful that they're all willing to stream their screens so that we can show it on stream here. Also, though, huge shout out to my co-caster today, JakeGearhart. I saw someone call him this in chat, and I'm going to steal it. Truly, JakeGearhart. I really liked that one. I thought the fun was great. So if you guys enjoyed the co-casting today, make sure to check out Jake. You can do !co-caster. He is a fantastic pro player in the physical card game. Obviously, a huge fan of Pocket as well. And if you ever want to check his takes or his see how he's thinking of the current meta, you can check out his Twitter. He also, if you are interested in the physical card game, you can always shoot him a DM. He does do some coaching, though he doesn't have a Metafy. So if you're interested in learning more about the game or things like that, make sure to reach out to Jake. Really, he has such great insights on the physical card game and also the Pocket as well, really able to apply some of those physical card game thoughts to the Pocket setting, and so make sure to check him out. I do also want to give a huge shout out to all of our viewers here today. Sorry about some of the tech issues. I don't really know what's happening. I didn't drop any frames, and yet we our stream completely died, and so thank you guys for sitting through that and just coming back to watch another one, and so thank you guys so much for being here. Jake, is there anything that you would like to say before we start ending the stream?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, I had a lot of fun today, and I'm really glad we got like a really international tournament to showcase. Like a Norwegian player won, we got Indonesia in second place, Japan third, Brazil fourth. Yeah, a lot of players from all across the world. So it's really great to see that Pocket is drawing in such a wide audience.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's so awesome about the Pocket community, especially the competitive scene. It's just how international it is. We've had so many different international winners. The competitive scene is, so widespread. And there's been so many fantastic tournaments done by basically every single different country. We have fantastic French co-casters, Spanish co-casters. There's Japanese casters running their tournaments. There's so many. It's such an awesome and wide spread, scene that I absolutely love to see it. And it's a great point that you made. Even now, a Norwegian winner within our tournament here today. With that being said, I do want to give a huge shout out to everyone again. Thank you again, Jake, so much. You're absolutely the goat heart. And so I'm so happy that you could be on with us. I do want to give a huge shout out to all of our players today and yesterday, because it is only because of them that we can have such a fantastic scene. Everyone should make sure to pat themselves on the back that it's the community that's built this competitive scene. We can only do it because of you guys. So thank you so much for playing in the tournament every single weekend. Thank you to the viewers for being here and watching. We wouldn't be able to have such an awesome sponsor that we have again, XP Collect. Huge shout out to our XP Collect sponsors. They are so fantastic in helping us every single week with this 400 USD prize pool, so that we can pay out all the way down to our top 16, which I'm really, really happy about. Because it is a lot of hours between day 1 and day 2 to get here. That being said, make sure to check out all of Jake's socials. You can check him out on Twitter. Make sure to message him if you want any info on the physical card game or Pocket. I also do want to give a huge shout out to all of our judges who put in these almost 15 hours. A lot of them don't even play in the tournament, so that they can give their full attention to the players. So we are so, so, so appreciative to them. Also, huge appreciation to our mods and everyone who helps me on the back end. And with that, I do think we're going to raid Illusion today. He is, I think, the last person from our tournament who is still streaming. So we're going to raid him. But as we go, I do want to say, if you are interested in Pokemon Pocket content, hi, I'm Ursi. I stream Pokemon Pocket about 7 days of the week. So if you're interested in that, I do also have Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and a really fantastic